Hello, you beautiful baby. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you for clicking this video. I really appreciate it. Welcome back or welcome. Hey girl, hey, it's your girl Tyra. Over here, I basically just tell you all my business, whether I'm vlogging, reading out of my journal, or just sitting down talking to you. You never know. You may have clicked on a video that's about drama or me doing a reaction. Whatever made you click, I'm so glad you did. Sit back, relax, and enjoy. Here we are again, right? Here we are again. You know, I really, truly need to write in my journal. But here's the thing.
When you're manic, all you do is think. Your brain doesn't shut off. So I have been thinking as if I'm writing in my journal, because what's been happening, just as an FYI, what's been happening is I write in the journal and I like figure out my problems, right? In the same way I've always utilized YouTube and talked about my life.
I would film a video, and while talking about it, I talked it out and like worked it out, and I came, you know, in this video with this problem, and we solved it, you know, by the end of the video, because I'm talking to you and I'm talking it out. So my brain is on 100. So like, why write when I'm already, you know, fucking A to Z in my head? I feel like dog shit. Straight dog shit. I slept. I did. I slept. I woke up a couple times, like maybe like 10 o'clock, maybe like 12 o'clock. I had to pee. I know I smoked like half a cigarette, looked at my phone, you know, and then like laid back down until about 2. It is 5:57, and I feel like I'm just now waking up. I am into my third 20-ounce Dr. Pepper. Okay. And I just recently took a shower. Yeah, I know. I took off one jammy, and this is my new one. How cute is this, right? Dude, these are like $8 at Walmart, and it's just a big old shirt. I'm not gonna stand up because it, you know, like, I don't want to do that. It really only goes to, no, this goes to your knees. I got a large, so it's not even like I have an extra large on, so it could be like nice and big or whatever. No, this goes to your knees. Go to the jammy section, and you're gonna see the jammies that I wear in my videos, and you're gonna fucking love me. If you ever buy jammies because of my influentials, make sure you tell me and tell me which ones you got, because I do. Like every couple weeks, I'll grab one. I'm gonna be living in these things this summer. You know what I'm saying? This summer, I'm not going to be at a park hanging out. This summer, I have work to do. And when I'm working, I'm going to be as comfortable as humanly possible. We already know when I lived in Florida in the summer, I was half naked all the time. For some reason, I started thinking about this timeline in my brain. 2016, worst year of my life. My life changed forever. 2017 was a great year, you know. Got my son back, all the things. 2018, terrible year, or at least going into 2018. Terrible year. I relapsed on marijuana. Ended up with the baby right back to my aunt, aka in DCFS custody, going through the worst heartbreak I've ever gone through in my entire life, while trying to be ecstatic that in only 11 months my son is back home with me. You know, I lost him, and I got him back in 11 months. I did the work. I did those things. I got him back, you know. And heartbreak took over. I did not know how to deal with that heartbreak. The only heartbreak I've ever felt in my life was when I was 21 years old, 22 or whatever. And, you know, I finally had to say goodbye to baby daddy forever. You know, he was like the love of my life at the time. And even though we have 2 children and we got back together and all the things, like, no, I didn't love him nearly the way that I loved the man in 2017, you know? But I figured it out by 2018. I was like, nope, nope, he is not sitting in DCFS custody for me to start from the beginning and do all the things from scratch as if I'm some horrible parent because I smoke weed. Panic mode. The baby is gone and back at my aunt's. I'm glued to my bed. I'm not eating, I'm not drinking. I'm sure I had cigarettes and I'm sure I had fucking weed, right? But like, and it took weeks to figure out the plan, right? And I came up with the genius plan. We're gonna send the baby to my sister and brother-in-law. I'm going to go to jail, do the time on this case that I caught in 2016, be free of all things Illinois, and I too will join the baby out in Florida. You know, from 2017 on, you know, I was an NAAA. I was sober of weed, right? Didn't smoke for 16 months. I had to live in sober living, you know, like I was living life right, and I was avoiding all my friends, you know, from the gang, and you know, I was on a good path, you know, and I got my son back, and like I said, this heartbreak just fucking exploded my life. It took over everything, and I had no idea how to even like deal with it. Heartbreak, like when it's real love, you know what I'm saying? Like that shit hurts, like literally physically fucking hurts. And you know, I'm not a drug person, so it wasn't like I had a real drug to numb the pain. It was like, man, let me just be high and be fucking happy, you know what I'm saying? So I went and did my time. You know, we were getting what we gotta do to get ready, to get the baby, to get to Florida. And I had, because, you know, once I lost the baby again, I was actually with the baby living in the neighborhood. Not on purpose, simply just because that was what was available, and you need an apartment in order to get your child back. So I was willing to live anywhere, which made it very accessible for me to get weed, and it ended up being really bad in the end. But like, in my opinion, it was just like, yeah, we have to get an apartment so we can get the baby back, you know? But, you know, wasn't really hanging out too much or nothing like that. Went and did my time, and then I had, you know, like 4 months where I just hustled. Didn't hang around nobody. I moved into a hotel room with my dad. He and I just split this like weekly rate for the room, you know what I'm saying? And for 4 months, I just did a lot of illegal shit. And within 5 months, I was buying a vehicle so I could drive my happy butt to Florida. The first year in Florida, I spent all my money on Airbnbs and hotel rooms and everywhere and anywhere I could go, renting rooms from Miss Piggy, from this fucking creepy fucking old dude. And it wasn't, you know, like, oh, your family won't let you live with them. There was nowhere for me to be in that house. So, like, I went to Florida just to be with my child, and, like, I did everything I had to do to make sure I was in Florida, and I was available, and I was there, and I was with him. And, oh, God, that year was rough. Oh, my God, that year was rough. But finally, right, I moved into Sundial, the first place that was ever doxxed on YouTube. And I lived there for years. I'd go to the family every weekend. My sister would pick me up. I'd have the kids over every other weekend or whatever, you know. Life was good. Life was good. Life was very dramatic, I feel like, because, like, through the week, once I started doing YouTube, it was a very drama-filled week, and then, like, my weekends were too decompressed with my family and my child, you know. These are great scratchers, I'm just gonna tell you right now. And then that stupid company, because it was, like, this guy who owned it for, like, 40 years. And all the vets were there. My neighbors were fucking... Dude, I did a lot of yelling there, you know what I'm saying? But... like, it was an adventure living there. I lived with a lot of vets in this small little city in North Florida. In this, like, 2-building neighborhood. Just drinking. You know, it was just an adventure every day. But yeah, this management company moved in, raised the rent, right? And then I get help with the rent. This is the worst part. This is how I ended up homeless. The worst part is I got rent assistance. Over $2,000. This community place, maybe, helped me to get caught up on my rent. You know, when you can't pay fucking $400 more a month, like, you get behind, but try that. And then it comes time for, you know, the eviction process, and I have these checks. Like, I think I still have them in my bag right now, matter of fact. I have these check stubs from this, like, community place who gave them over $2,000. And I'm like, here's the proof, you know, that you were paid, and, you know, this should clear up all the problems. And, you know, moving forward, I just have to, you know, work harder on YouTube, make more money on YouTube so I can pay this rent, you know. Claimed they never got it. And I was no longer able to reach out to that community place. I had no way of getting a hold of them to get the proof. But yeah, like, you know, I couldn't prove that it cleared their bank because they didn't know how to get a hold of them. I remember coming up with the bright idea that I was going to live in my storage unit because, you know, I had been in that apartment for 3 years in Florida. So I had plenty of items, you know, so I had gotten a storage unit right around the corner from the actual apartment complex, you know. And I was like, yeah, I'm just gonna live there. I was so fortunate, right, to have found pretty decent shelters, you know, that really did take care of, you know, people who were there and homeless and things like that. Because a lot of times in Florida, you see literal homeless camps, you know, just like wide area of like 50 fucking tents all stacked next to each other, you know. You know, I ended up at that last shelter, and they were finally just like, we can't help you. Like, if you can't find nothing, you can't find nothing. Like, you can't keep staying here and not have an update on, like, housing, you know. And because I hung out at that park all day, every day anyway, and then my one friend, right, that big old girl, damn, that was a big old bitch. She ended up out there homeless because, like, her time was up at the shelter. And I was just like, fuck it, dude. She can do it, I can do it, you know. And I lasted 32 days. Do I think I could have lasted 40? Not without going completely insane. Let's just be for real. Forget the very last few days of me being in that park. It was at least said publicly that they had found me in the park. I've had a stalker obsessed dude on my tail for years, and everywhere I go they find me. That's just what it is. And it was scary, you know. At that point I had been scared that anybody from YouTube knew what park I was in, because I did everything in my power to make sure I didn't show anything. And I'll never forget it. I'll never forget it. I think, I don't know for sure. I don't know how they figured out what park I was in, but I think that I said, oh, I just came from across the street with my dinner. I love Popeye's biscuits. And it happens to be the only park in North Florida near Gainesville, right where I said I was, across the street from a Popeyes. Then I had that guy offer me a place to stay, gave him a full month's rent that he asked for, and he talked to me like a fucking dog.
Think about that now, and it's just like, damn, you came up to me and you were like, you know, do you need help? And I really thought, like, wow, this is so nice. Like, what an angel from God. And, like, from day one, like, once my bags were in that room, he was not who he was walking that dog at the park.
That lasted 3-4 days, maybe. And we all know how I am with men talking crazy, and it's just like, this ain't gonna be a thing. This can't be a thing. I will go back to the park. That's just what we're gonna have to do. And then everybody came together. Krama community, Natasha Cooper's community, Save Robbie. Everybody came together. Because I actually found an apartment that would let me in there. And I got in that bitch. Slowly but surely, YouTube was affecting me mentally. I didn't allow myself to think that YouTube was really affecting me mentally. But it was. It was in that apartment where I planned, really took the time to think out, all the way to making sure that I leave the door unlocked and the AC on full blast so nobody has to smell me. Where do I put the notes for my children? And I didn't even come to reality until it was time to write the letters to my children. Because, like, how could I K myself and not write something to my boys? And I remember, you know, the first day, I was like, oh, whatever, I'll do it tomorrow. Like, when you're K'ing yourself, like, no one's in a rush, per se, right? And then the next day came, and I was like, oh, no, I just couldn't grab a piece of paper and pen, you know? And, you know, like, I know it's been proven, right, that I was evicted from that apartment. But the reality is, I just didn't pay 1 month's worth of rent so I could give it to my son, who really needed financial help at the time, and asked me to move in with him, which is the only reason I left the apartment that everyone helped me to get into. And I was willing to mess up my credit so I could go to him with $1,000, like, here, put it away, do whatever you need to do with it. I wasn't evicted because I couldn't pay rent. You know, I was evicted because I chose not to pay rent. And in this particular case, they were ready to evict me like day 21 of not paying rent. Okay, so like they were just on it. But I was already moving out at the end of the month anyway, so like I never went to court or any of that shit. But like, no, I owe them a month's rent for sure. But that was done purposefully. And finally, right, my son, shortly after getting through that really dark time, my son calls me and he needs his mom. What? Need me? The last 6 months that I was in Florida with my son were the happiest 6 months ever. I cooked for him all the time, spoiled him, served him his plate, hang out and watch TV together. Best 6 months ever. And the worst thing, right, that could have happened on YouTube.
My child, in a video he uploaded himself at 5 years old. He's that kid. unbeknownst to me or my mother or any adult in his life, we had no idea that he was like uploading these videos, you know, at the time or whatever. And when I found them later, I just thought they were adorable. Like, I never thought anybody would ever find them or anything, you know what I'm saying? I didn't even think about that.
But, you know, he's 5 years old and he's playing with his Curious George and live streams. A lot of live streams were done insinuating sexual things about my child and his doll. It's been said that I have essayed my child. It's been said that I let others essay my child. And it was at that point that my sister and brother-in-law were done with me. I lost my family. And initially, I'm angry, you know, fuck them. How dare they, right? You know, like, how dare they get, like, mad at me because people are fucking crazy and they're gross and sick and all the things, and they like little kids and they think sexual things about little kids. That does not come in normal people's minds. It doesn't. You're sick. You're a whole pedo. It is what it is. Like, it. And I couldn't see my son, and I lived right down the street from him. I couldn't talk to my son. Nothing. And I was miserable. I can look back now and, you know, say to myself, like, Tyra, Florida is not for you, and you shouldn't go back to Florida to live ever, and I won't do that. Like, I need to be in Illinois, and you know what I'm saying? I specifically need to be in Waukegan. That's where I want to be. That's where I want to live my life. You know what I'm saying? And I was like, I have to get out of here. I can't be in Florida and be down the street from my child. And for the first time in my life, he's not being able to talk to me or see me. I can't live like this. This I can't live like. And I just watched myself get, you know, further and deeper into a hole. And I came up with a great idea. You know, let's go to Chicago. Let's go back home, dude. You know, it's maybe just time to go back home. Go back home around your kind of people. Because that's what it is. People in North Florida are just not my kind of people.
And if they are my kind of people, even for a month or two, it eventually has come out, because I've tried to make 2 friends, okay? 2 girlfriends I have tried to make in North Florida. And they're cool as fuck at first, you know what I'm saying? But no, like, the real them comes out, and it's like, damn, you are not my fucking people, broski. You're just not my fucking people.
No, I was like, I can't be around. I can't be around. This isn't fair. I was so angry with them. Oh, I was so angry. Because I felt like they were punishing me for something someone else did, because like I would never do those things, you know, but hindsight is 2020. So I remember, you know, I go and I post on Facebook because, honey, I ain't done Facebook in 4 years. I do not be on Facebook. I will go look at memories because I always can see the baby being little and I love them. Or I'll go on once every 3 months and post something, or, you know, I'm just not on there. So I'm not keeping up with any of my friends in these 4 years, and normally had been. But I'm like, I'm going to be coming home, and, you know, and in my head, I'm thinking, how the fuck I'm going to get home? What am I going to do? How I'm going to save money? Because I still got to help him. And, but, oh my God, I can't be here. I just wanted to run. I wanted to run far, 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 far away. Because if I am not going to see my child, it's going to be because I'm back home in Waukegan and not down the fucking street from him. Period. I was ready to walk. I was ready to just show up at doors. Keep my child from me? Things went dark real fast. I allowed myself to spin out of control, and anger was all I felt all day, every day, twice on Sunday. And lo and behold, my best friend, who I haven't talked to in 4 years because she did something bogus, and I quit talking to her. she reaches out to me. And because I had no ill will towards her, loved her to death, even to that day, never held anything against her, loved her, wished her the best. And she reached out to me. And I was like, oh my God, this is fate. I knew what I was coming to Illinois to. And because of my love for my best friend, I came anyway. Was I desperate? I was desperate. I was desperate. Wayne, now, what I didn't know 4 years ago, or even 7-8 months ago, is that when I left Florida, in the place that I lived and everything, moved out of the room I was renting, all the things, to go to Chicago and help my best friend leave her husband, together take a U-Haul of all of her belongings and go to Florida and find a fucking place to live together. That's not how it worked out. And I quit talking to her because she was bogus. But in that trip, that visit, her husband got his act together. Her husband started acting fucking normal. And he was very intimidated by the fact that I was there. And I could potentially be taking his wife from him. So he snapped to it, baby. And as soon as he snapped to it, that's when she started acting funky, right? And da-da-da, 4 years later, whoop-de-bam.
Now I know that my presence, I think a friend in general, I don't know that it's necessarily me, my presence intimidates him, and he knows that I will take his wife. We almost did it once before. She was just not ready to really leave him, right?
But it's all fate, right? It's all fate. Because only my best friend would come to Florida to come pick me up. I have all of this whole fucking nail shop. I have an entire nail shop ready to open that I put on hold for a month and a half, because I was like, no, let me just get to Chicago, get settled, and then I can open shop. And because I knew going in how bad it was going to be. Not how bad. I just knew it was going to be bad. I just knew what I was up against, who I was dealing with. Okay, like, I just knew that. We talked for months, all day, every day, about the million fucking things that he did that was weird and creepy and all the things, right? Like, I was so aware of the situation I was going into. In those 4 years, I changed so fucking much as a human. And dealing with anybody's shit is not on my list of fucking things to do. Did I think I was gonna be able to go there and just fucking, you know what I'm saying, ignore this motherfucker? Of course. Of fucking course. Why would I go there knowing I'd have to bug up or whatever, you know what I'm saying? Or have to check his ass and all the things. And all of these concerns and like frustrations that I was having, of course I was talking about them on YouTube. Nobody knows who these people are. Nobody's just gonna find one friend of mine in Illinois and know that's where I'm at. No way, they're anonymous as fuck, like who cares? Not to mention everything I've ever said online about him. It's not only the truth, but I have said to the face of the man, okay? It's a story time in itself, and I will tell it sooner than later, I promise. But I meet up with some YouTube friends, and I'm just supposed to like go over there for the night and like hang out with them, you know what I'm saying? I'm looking forward to a deep dish pizza, because like he lives by a place that has really good deep dish fucking pizza, bitch, and I needed a deep dish pizza in my fucking life, you know? And I got to meet, you know, 2 of my friends from YouTube, you know? It was perfect. He wasn't that far, 20 minutes away, you know? While I'm gone, this husband did the fucking most. Story time. It's a story time. It is a video in itself. But I ended up homeless because I was never like allowed to leave that person's house and go back to where all of my belongings were. So I was able to go with her daughter. Her daughter's grown, you know, her daughter let me stay with her. I gave her daughter a full month's rent. Her daughter kicks me out of the fucking house by the 9th of the month, you know, so I'm asked out. Keeps all my fucking cigarettes. I just spent $100 on cigarettes. She keeps all those. They keep all my clothes from there. Now it's time to go pick up all of my belongings, my nail shop, all the things. Got this fucking weird, creepy baby daddy's friend who's like picking this stuff up for me. There's nothing on this porch for me to even grab. All my shit is missing. They're not answering the fucking doors, but their cars are there. And before you know it, I was homeless. Okay. It's really important that I make sure that this is very clear. I wasn't just like going back home to like move in with my best friend because I had to leave Florida. No, it became a rescue mission because my friend, her husband is such a narcissistic abuser. He was making her crazy. And I was coming, just like I was 4 years prior, to get her out of that situation and help her and her 5 children and grandchild and anyone else who is coming along get into a place that she can afford and another adult can be paying bills. And I ended up with nothing and homeless. Yeah, I should have stayed not talking to her, huh? Here's the thing. I want everybody to understand and remember this. I had every intention on moving out at the end of the month. The husband kicked me out on like the 23rd or something, right? Like 25th or whatever, right? Like whenever I went to that friend's house, I just, was never like allowed to come back. We're paid a full month's rent and still kicked me out and kept all my shit and all the things, you know. And I'm in the city of Chicago. Don't know what I'm gonna do because I'm not from the city. I'm a suburb girl. But I do know one spot. And that one spot used to belong to my gang. So I'm very familiar with that spot. And because it's the only familiar spot in Chicago on the north side, in a decent area, I'm just gonna sleep outside. I'm gonna sleep outside on the same monument that we all used to take pictures standing in front of, you know? Those summers, the Puerto Rican parade, everybody and their mama would be up on the Eagle, and we're all taking pictures, and that's where I'm asleep. That's where I'm asleep. For weeks, I was good. I was good. I didn't want to have to reach out to any of the friends that knew I was on my way here and have to explain to them what happened with O-Girl and her weird husband. I was so embarrassed. I have been robbed, and I basically let someone rob me. I know there wasn't much I can fucking do, but like, I did. Like, I let someone rob me. Either way, it's on me. Like, and then I started realizing that none of the people I knew even came to the Eagle anymore. And then a few weeks passed, and I did finally see someone that I knew. And then once he knew I was out there, I kind of was just like, well, if he knows, then I know he's probably telling people, and if people are worried about me, they'll come fucking save me. I was offered a shower, but like, I was already going to Planet Fitness to shower. And for over a month, whether I was sleeping on a train, sleeping outside on the monument, not sleeping at all, literally sleeping during the day on the monument, that's eventually what it turned into, because I couldn't go to sleep at night. People were waking me up that were, you know, my friends during the summer, because like creeps were out there staring at me and shit, you know, like, no, like if they weren't there, that's scary to me.
The thought of being AR'd is scary to me, okay? I am a control freak, and that is the least bit of control anybody could ever have in their life, is to be AR'd. And I couldn't, like, deal with that, so
eventually I had to stay up all night and just sleep all day while everybody around me enjoyed their beautiful summer, you know. So I look back at these times, you know, 2016, worst year, 17, 18, I'm living life right. 19, 20, 21, 22, everything's good in Florida. And then, like, since 2022, my life has just gone down the drain again. But I know there's a come up coming. And I'm never optimistic about this stuff. Never. I know, like, I know deep down in my fucking soul, like, in my soul while I'm pointing at my head, my comeback is here. Life is going to be okay. I need a retreat. I need a little vacation for a few months. I need some peace and quiet. I need a place where I can sleep 8 hours a night if I'm lucky and just work my ass off. There's plenty of drama to talk about. There are so many videos that I could be reacting to. There may not be much to say about my life when my whole life is just consumed with content and press-on nails, right? Like, there may not be a lot of these, but I know how to make money on YouTube, you know what I'm saying? And that's the whole goal, is to make a bunch of fucking money in a few months and, you know what I'm saying, get shit together. Get back to Waukegan, get into an apartment, or even find a roommate. I'll be honest with you, rent is just too expensive for me. And granted, if I'm making press-ons and I'm, you know, running a business and I'm doing YouTube, I'll be making more money. So I suppose, looking at it that way, I could afford an apartment just fine, but, like, I would rather split it with somebody. So maybe in the interim, then 3 months, right, like, figure out somebody and reach out to people and just, like, you know, whatever. Splitting rent is just so much easier than paying rent by yourself. I do not, after living here, I do not need to be by myself. I have realized amongst multiple people, I can put myself in my own world. I learned that even this summer at the Eagle. Everybody around me is a drunk fool, acting up, fighting, arguing, da-di-da-di-da. And I'm in my own world, just sitting there watching nail content on YouTube. That's just what it's been. I live in a house full of people, a smaller house, you know, a small apartment, a smaller apartment full of people. But I never feel like anyone's in my space, if that makes sense. Like, I can find myself comfortable anywhere I need to be. That's just what it is. I will go into my own world, and that is where I like to be anyways. And I know, you know, there's this really crazy roller coaster fucking relationship that I've been in since I've been here too. And, you know, it's been quite the struggle. But I do have to remember that I'm grateful, you know, to have him and his family in my life. Not even, they're not bad people. Like, they're totally definitely not bad people. But, like, he's not a bad person. Just because the two of us are not working out, don't make him a bad person. He's actually a very, very sweet human. Everybody loves him. I just get a different version of him, you know. It sucks that he has a different version, but it's the reality. Well, life is about ups and downs, and I just, for the last 48 minutes.
Oh my God, 48 minutes, bitch. And I don't think I've stopped to fucking breathe.
What you've just listened to is a bunch of downs and ups, you know what I'm saying? I'm not alone in this world. I know that I seclude myself and make myself alone in this world most of the time, but I'm not alone in this world. I could easily ask my son if I could come there for a few months, throw him some money for rent, and let me save up to come right back. I would just rather not do that to him because I don't want him to get used to me being there again and then us have to miss each other like crazy again because we spent months together. I was extremely disappointed that I came home to Chicago. And he was really concerned about me talking to a girl again after not talking to her for 4 years. And now she's like willing to come get me and all the things, you know. He warned me. I didn't listen because I thought, you know, he's a child. He is being selfish and he just wants his mom. When reality is he's a man and he's not stupid. In fact, he's the only person I know who's smarter than me when it comes to reading other people and things like that. And I should have listened to him for sure. But he was devastated. And yeah, I just don't want to put him through that again. All I seek now is a destination, right? A destination. I have a few places that I could go, and you know, it's just about like, I guess who I'm gonna take up on their offer, you know, because it's not, of course, any of my friends here. I still haven't reached out to them, but I do plan on doing that over the next few months. I really do. And not because I need them, but because I'm coming home and I want to be in certain people's lives. Obviously, I'm gonna pick and choose. And I also know that people change. So, like, I'm in a season of my life where, like, I'm not dealing with no bullshit, none of the shit. So, hopefully everybody's still cool. You know what I'm saying about that. I think more than anything, the biggest lesson from the last 8 months, maybe we're on to 9 months now, I don't even know, I really truly don't, is I have learned how to live without my children. I have learned why my sister and brother-in-law have done what they done. I am respecting boundaries that I've never respected before because it's my sister and she loves me, and I take advantage of that, right? We take advantage of people's love, you know? We are slowly but surely going to be at a place where we are just fine. And it sucks. It sucks really bad to not be in my youngest son's life. I'm sure he literally gets cooler by the day. And in all these years, you know, only for a few months did I ever feel, well, at least I thought I felt, because I don't really mean it, that I shouldn't have made the decision I've made, you know, because they were keeping him from me. But, like, my son is the luckiest kid ever because he lives a life that my oldest son never knew. My oldest son was with me his whole life. We had really good times in life, and we've had really bad times in life. He's seen every struggle. He's seen every win. My son just lives this really normal, playing sports and doing homework consistently and having dinner at the same time every night with the whole family at your table. I couldn't have given him the father that he has today. My brother-in-law, I will never land a man anything near what my brother-in-law is. That's just the reality. Like, come on, it is what it is. Like, I'm not, like, ashamed to fucking say that. It's fucking facts. He has the best father, the best mother. He has a brother and sister that are his age, not 11 years apart. You know, his big brother is a whole ass grown man that's been living on his own for 5 years. You know what I'm saying? So he has siblings and, you know, big sister, big brother that'll look out for him and give him advice and teach him things. And a father who he has as an example, you know, consistently throughout all these years and throughout the rest of his life. A great example of a man. I couldn't give him that. I sent my sister a text at like 2 in the morning. You know, it was already Mother's Day. It was already Sunday, but it was like 2 in the morning. And I mean this, you know, I know my haters all watch and they're going to think this is hilarious. But I truly fucking mean this, okay? Like, this is no bullshit. I text her and I told her, happiest of Mother's Day, you know, whoop-de-bam, to the only mother in this world that I think is better at this mother thing than me. And I really fucking mean that. I know I made a really big mistake. I know I did that. My mental health has been a problem my whole life, and unfortunately it was a time in my life where I wasn't on medication and I don't make good decisions, and I have paid terribly for that. But I remain grateful that my son has the best. Like, dude, he has a grandma and grandpa and cousins, and don't nobody treat him different. They ain't never treated him different. He has just always been, this is my grandson, this is my nephew, this is, you know what I'm saying? No, ain't none of that. And I remember when I decided to give the baby to my sister and brother-in-law, because, you know, it was only, they would only take him if they were able to adopt him. They would only take him if I were to make a permanent decision about the baby staying with them forever, you know. And I knew after a long time, I mean, it didn't take overnight, but like, I knew that I provided this gift for my child. And I think I told myself, like, it's the least I can do, right? Like, thank God he was too young to remember anything, you know, like, nor did he see anything or hear anything, or, you know what I'm saying? There's no memories of, like, that night that I fucked up, you know, when they took him from me. That's what I'm talking about. But I never would have imagined that I gave him such a gift. And, you know, I think about how lucky I am, right? Because I wouldn't be able to give him that gift if I didn't have such an amazing sister. If, you know, I didn't have this amazing relationship with my sister. Thank gosh that we grew up and we were close, and thank gosh she married an amazing man. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, you have to be completely selfless to truly make a decision that's best for your child. I would love to be his mom. I would have loved to have been his mom for the last 9 years that I haven't been a full-time mom to him. But would he be living his best life like he is now? No. I still deal with mental illness. I still deal with depression. I could still deal with mania. I can, you know, I can be really, I can make really bad decisions. I can't remember what I did 5 minutes ago. I can't even do his homework. Like, he has a big brother and sister for that shit at the crib now. You know what I'm saying? Really. I don't know if my oldest son could even do that damn homework, but his brother and sister can. My kids didn't grow up with, like, a big family and parties and hanging out on the weekends, and no. My child is really, really living his best motherfucking life. And I couldn't be happier about it. I know I'm allowed to be sad and miss him. Like, I know that. But I try not to be, because it's like, what are you feeling sorry for? Like, he's totally fucking good. That's so helpful when you really are 1,200 miles away. Because let's just say that it wasn't with my sister and I did something and he was, you know, whatever. I couldn't be 1,200 miles away from him. No way. No way. No how. No. No. Mm-mm. 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 Nope. He couldn't be with nobody but my sister and my mother for me to move 1,200 miles away from that child. I stayed home with him. I worked with my oldest son. I worked full-time in corporate America with my oldest son his whole life. I stood home with the baby. Me and him were like this. DCFS taking him was because of the way that I love my child. I took it real hard. And I'm not saying any parent who goes through this shouldn't take it real hard. But like it was extra hard because we spent every waking moment together. Would he go to my mom's on a Friday night? Sure. When my sister lived in town still and he was younger, did he go over there? Sure. Even my cousin, he would go over to my cousin's house. She had little granddaughters, you know, his age. But like other than that, we spent every waking moment together unless I was stepping out for the night. You know, there wasn't like a mommy weekend for me ever. You know what I'm saying? So like the videos that come up as memories, all they do is remind me that he lived in my real like clingy as a newborn. He was such a good fucking newborn. Infant, okay, toddler to 3 years. No, they're all toddlers at 3. Jesus. 6 months old to 3. He and I were inseparable. And I mean that because he would constantly climb all over on top of me and have to be sitting with me. I would tell him all the time, like, dude, I know you're trying to crawl back in there, but you're too fucking big now. You can't go back in mommy's belly. He would think it's hilarious. But I was telling him, like, dude, you're living out of my ass right now. I'd walk around the house. He'd be right there, right at my hip. You know what I'm saying? Like, no, it was me and that baby. Oh, man. But anyways, what a crazy 9 years. 9 years ago, you know, the worst of the worst could have happened to me. And it totally destroyed my life.
I remember coming home from court, being sentenced to probation and not the 5 years in prison. Thank you, baby Jesus, that they got me a lawyer. Okay, thank you very much. If my friends hadn't gotten me a lawyer, there's no way I wouldn't have done them 5 years. I would have definitely gone to the joint for 2.5 years, too, if I
cannot help it. The purpose of saying that is I came home from court and everything I owned was being removed from the apartment because, you know, the management company who like owned that house were made aware of, you know, what happened, and they automatically like evicted me. I had nowhere to go. And I watched all my furniture, all my TVs, all my tables, all my, just everything that I had accumulated over 15 years, 20 years was just sitting on a curb, and people were like, I was real down, and I got to Florida, and eventually I got real high, and I was on my own and doing everything, and everything was great, and things changed, and then I was down lower than I'd ever been before. I have never in my life been homeless in the streets. God, I lived in Florida. Let's be for serious. I'm from Illinois, dude. I lived in a park for 32 days. A park, dude. How did I do that? How did I survive that? How was I not K'd out there? I lived outside on a monument. I slept in trains with a bunch of fucking stinky crackheads all night.
My book bag fucking wrapped around my whole body like it was a gosh damn, that white suit that they put you in when you go to the mental hospital and you have to get a shot and shit. Straight jacket. I had my shit around me like a damn straight jacket sleeping on that motherfucking train.
As a woman in Chicago. But it was better than being outside in the cold. I've come a long way. And I have come way too far to stop now. I have gone through a lot in the last 8-9 months. A lot. Still on YouTube. No one chased me away. Not the haters, not Jessica Ken. I'm monetized now on the 3rd channel. Because raggedy bitches stole the other 2. I may not have my family, but like I have the greatest step family or family-in-law. And I know we're not getting married, but like that's what we're doing. That's how we're calling people. My days are peaceful for the most part. I'm in my own world. I do my own thing. I'm extremely focused this year. Things are very different for me this year, especially on YouTube. I'm gonna revert to old behaviors. I'm gonna make mistakes on YouTube, but I wouldn't be here if I didn't care. I wouldn't be here if I just wanted to fight with people. Because if I really just wanted to fight with people, I would have become a beef streamer. Streamers can make a lot of fucking money. And I never once had a beef stream in my entire life. Probably done 300 live streams easily. I'm growing. I'm changing. I'm evolving. I'm different. Things will never be the same. And I love that for me. And I'm gonna be okay. And my nail business will be up before the end of the year. I will launch my nail business before the end of the year. I will have to register for an LLC by the end of this year. I will have my own website selling my own press-ons by the end of this year. And less than a year ago, it was all robbed from me. I'm determined. I'm not giving up. I'm not slowing down. I am so depressed. I'm so depressed. Let's just be for real. I'm a sad ass bitch, okay? And all I want to do each and every day is lay in that bed. And I think I've taken 2 naps in 2 months. I refuse. I refuse to lose anymore. I refuse to believe that I'm gonna lose anymore. I'm gonna choose happy. I'm going to find that peace that I have been seeking. And everything is gonna be okay. And by the end of 2025, I will win. And that's a promise to myself. I don't bring my promises even to myself. We're gonna be adding to the vlog. And I already said peace out, Girl Scout, but I lied. What I had on yesterday, because I'm just going to go to the restaurant. I just received money in my taco fund. I really am so fucking blessed. I am so grateful for the people that I have in my life. Nobody has to do anything for me. Let's be for real. But literally every few days, after 3-4 of you send $3-5, like I have enough for some fucking tacos. And you know, now that I'm doing content, and now that I'm like really active on YouTube, having those funds are really helpful to me. Like really helpful. But I didn't feel right doing them when I wasn't even doing content or nothing, you know. When I'm around, I don't mind having them because you guys are so gracious. Your jacket that I paid $10 for on Amazon, bitch. 10. It's really not that ugly. Fits good. It's kind of too big. Not bad for a large. But it did say oversized. Lofty? I don't know. Perhaps once upon a time it was a name brand. I don't know shit about name brands because I ain't been able to buy name brands in a very long time. This really should have been the end of the vlog. Really should have been. But I'm like, if I'm going outside, I might as well bring these bitches with me. Yeah, I'm only eating tacos because I got a donation. I got a taco donation, honey. Thank you. Shout out to you, boo. And every couple days, I am thanking everybody on my community tab.
I don't get alerts for Cash App nor the PayPal, so I just have to look. And I feel greedy, like looking too much, you know what I'm trying to say? So like, unfortunately I get some of them and they're late.
It's been too many days, thank you. And I was going to eat chili out of a can tonight. Not I, said the fly. People love me. You know, I think if you asked my boyfriend, he would tell you that I'm like a picky eater and I only eat 5 things. I don't like vegetables and like I'm a picky eater in that way. Like I don't like weird shit like zucchinis and eggplants and shit like that ain't going in my mouth. Ever since I didn't have to. Like, why are you staring? What is the problem? People talk to their phones all the time. And I'm going to always probably choose tacos. If I could afford tacos every day, I'd probably eat them every day. Now that I don't cook for my kids, I really do. I only eat a few things. I'm still on a graham cracker kick. I think I've been fucking filling my face with graham crackers for 3 months now. That's like my favorite snack every night. But yeah, real life, I feel like dog shit. I cannot only get 2 hours of sleep. And then I stood up until like 2 o'clock in the morning again. And I know I woke up at 2 p.m., but my goodness. Pookie, he very rarely sleeps. And I don't know how he does that. I'm too old for that. He can't wait to get up the next day and get outside. It's crazy. He's like a kid, for real. And yeah, it sucks that, like, we're, I guess, fighting, right? Because, like, I don't come on here and ever say the good things. I only come on here to bitch and complain about him, and that's not fair. You know, I just don't want to be out. And I was, like, checking in with myself, right? Hold on, let me light this cigarette. Because I don't want to be anxious, and that's why I'm going in. So, like, I'm checking with myself. It's not anxiety at all. It's just, I just didn't need to sit there. I kind of didn't really have much to talk about anyway. So, I was like, you know, let's just go back in, finish editing this. And at least I added it to the end, you know. Oh, I got a text from my friend today, and she's doing something like super fun, and she wants some nails, and I'm so excited to do them. They're gonna be shorties though. She does not rock nails. They're gonna be shorties. So I gotta figure out how to make these shorties cool as hell. Because let's be for real, nail art is just always going to be better on long nails. As I was leaving, my brother-in-law was walking up. I'm like, where in the fuck is your bike? You got one of them cool ass, like, motorcycle bikes? I don't know how to call it. Like, oh, it's charging. I needed some juice. Yeah, he does all kinds of really, like, fancy, cool things with his bike. A lot of people at the Eagle have an electric bike, I think is what it's called. And they all, like, have theirs tricked out or whatever it's called. I don't know. What do the kids call it? And he is definitely one of them people. In fact, his is the most tricked out of them all. I mean, I know it's kind of dark outside, but it's real dark for you. It's actually so nice I don't even need the jacket. So that's a plus. But yeah, let me close this out properly because yesterday I left it bogus. This is not going to be up until tomorrow anyway. It's going to be a premiere because it's such a long video so we can chat. So I was like, I'll sit on the stoop and end it properly because I ended yesterday's bogus as hell and I'm sorry for that. But yeah, my brother-in-law probably has the best bike up there. And there's probably a good 6 to 8 of them, I would say, with electric bikes. If I'm not ready to export this video, editing and all the things, right, before my brother-in-law comes in, I will add a clip to the end of this to show you his, like, tricked out bike. Lights galore, whatever else is cool for a bike. I just don't know. I don't know. Yeah, walking and talking is just not for me. It's just not. I'm just fine sitting here and talking. But when I get to walking, no. I cannot fucking breathe. But for some reason, it's much easier to talk when I'm not filming myself. If I'm just filming the streets as I walk, I can talk a lot better like that. Must be something consciously in my brain. Okay, anyway, I'm gonna sit out here. I'm gonna smoke a cigarette. And I'm probably gonna edit some of this while I sit out here and smoke the cigarette. But I am officially out of here. If you are down there right now during the premiere and you have been chatting, you. Real MVPs, bitch. Peace out, Girl Scout. Hashtag T-Dolls. Hashtag T-Dolls. Thanks again for coming. Have a great day or night wherever it is you are. And I'll see you on the next one.